You're really getting stiff, Dad. Maybe it's time to stop pretending you can keep up. My daughter said it to Rachel, my yoga instructor. The woman I'd been taking classes from for 3 years said it like I wasn't standing right there, like I was furniture that needed replacing. Rachel's smile went tight. Professional. Actually, Thomas has excellent form for... He's 72. Amanda cut her off. Let's be realistic. I looked at my daughter, at the yoga mat rolled under my arm, at Rachel, who suddenly looked uncomfortable in her own studio. That's when I knew. This wasn't about yoga. Please subscribe and write what time it is where you are right now. I'd been doing yoga since Margaret died, 4 years ago last month. Doctor said I needed something for the grief, something to keep me moving. Margaret had always wanted me to try it. Said it might help with the back pain from 30 years of construction work. I'd laughed it off. Said yoga was for people who didn't know what real work felt like. Then she was gone, and the house got too quiet. Rachel's studio was small. Community center, 3 evenings a week, mixed ages. I was the oldest guy there by about 15 years, but I wasn't the oldest person. Dorothy was 78 and could hold tree pose longer than anyone. First class, I couldn't touch my toes. Could barely get my hands past my knees. Rachel didn't make it a thing, just showed me modifications. Said flexibility was a practice, not a destination. I liked that. No bullshit. Just work. 3 years later, I could touch my toes. Hold plank for 90 seconds. Do a decent warrior 2 without my knee screaming. I went Tuesday and Thursday evenings, Sunday mornings. Sometimes Amanda came with me, when she remembered, which was maybe 6 times in 3 years. But she'd seen me do it, knew I was consistent, knew Rachel had mentioned I'd improved more than most of her younger students. So when Amanda showed up at the studio that Tuesday evening, I was surprised. She hadn't been in almost 8 months. Didn't have her mat, didn't have yoga clothes, just her work outfit, slacks and a blazer. She worked in pharmaceutical sales, made good money, reminded people of it often. Dad, can we talk after class? Sure, you staying? No, I've got dinner plans. Just wanted to catch you. That should have been my first clue. Class was good. Rachel had us working on hip openers. Pigeon pose. I'd grown to like pigeon pose, even though it hurt in that deep way that felt productive. Constructive pain, Margaret used to call it. The kind that meant you were fixing something. Afterward, I was rolling up my mat when Amanda approached Rachel. I was maybe 10 feet away, close enough to hear. Rachel, I wanted to talk to you about my dad. Rachel glanced at me, then back to Amanda. Okay. I'm worried he's pushing himself too hard. He's 72. His balance isn't what it was. I walked over. My balance is fine. Amanda didn't look at me, kept her eyes on Rachel. He fell last month. Did he tell you that? I slipped on ice, I said. In February, in Minnesota. That happens. You bruised your hip. It was a bruise. Rachel, I just think it might be time for Dad to consider a gentler practice. Maybe chair yoga, something more age-appropriate. Rachel's face did something complicated. She was 34, professional, good at navigating the social politics of teaching yoga to people of all ages. But I could see her trying to figure out how to handle a student's daughter telling her how to teach. Thomas has been doing very well, Rachel said carefully. His practice has progressed significantly. That's what I'm worried about, Amanda said. Progression. He's not 25. He shouldn't be trying to keep up with people half his age. I'm not trying to keep up with anyone, I said. My voice came out harder than I meant. I'm doing my own practice. You're really getting stiff, Dad. Maybe it's time to stop pretending you can keep up. There it was. The thing she'd actually come to say. Rachel's smile went professional. Distant. Actually, Thomas has excellent form for... He's 72. Let's be realistic. I looked at Rachel. She looked sorry. Not for me. For the situation. For having to stand there while my daughter talked about me like I was a liability. Amanda, why are you here? She turned to me then, smiled. The smile she used with clients. I'm concerned about you, Dad. I think you're having trouble accepting that you're getting older. I accept it fine. I do yoga 3 times a week. That's me accepting it. Or it's you refusing to admit you need to slow down. Other students were leaving. A few glanced over. Dorothy caught my eye on her way out, raised her eyebrows. I shook my head slightly. It's fine. Rachel, thank you for your time, Amanda said. I know it's not easy to have these conversations, but I thought you should know as his instructor that his family has concerns. His family. Like she was speaking for a committee. Rachel nodded, professional to the end. I appreciate you sharing your perspective. Amanda left. Rachel and I stood there in the empty studio. Just us and the faint smell of lavender from the diffuser she kept by the door. I'm sorry about that, I said. You don't need to apologize. She had no right. She's worried about you. Rachel said it like she was supposed to, like that's what you say when someone's family shows up questioning their choices. She's not worried. She's embarrassed. Rachel started gathering her things. Thomas, your practice is your own. I'm not going to tell you to stop coming. But, she paused, but I do have to be mindful of liability. If your family has concerns, my family is one person, and she hasn't come to yoga with me in 8 months. Rachel nodded. Didn't say anything. We both knew it didn't matter. Amanda had planted the seed, made Rachel start thinking about insurance, about what happens if the old guy gets hurt. I drove home. The house was dark. Same house Margaret and I bought in 1985, raised Amanda here. 3 bedrooms, 1 bath, corner lot. Needed a new roof, needed new windows, but it was paid off, and it was mine. I made dinner, leftover chicken. Ate it standing at the counter the way Margaret used to scold me for. Checked my phone. Nothing from Amanda. At 9:30, my phone rang. Derek, Amanda's husband. Hey, Tom. Amanda told me she talked to you today. She talked at me, to my yoga instructor. She's worried, man. You took a hard fall last month. I slipped on ice, got a bruise. I'm fine. That's what my dad said. 2 months before he broke his hip. I didn't say anything. Derek's father had fallen at 76. Broken his hip. Developed pneumonia in the hospital. Died 6 weeks later. I knew Derek was scared. Knew he was projecting. But that didn't make it okay for Amanda to show up at my yoga studio like I was incompetent. Derek, I appreciate the concern, but I'm not your father, and I'm not fragile. No one's saying you're fragile. Amanda literally told my instructor I'm too stiff to keep up. Silence. Then, she probably could have handled it better. She could have talked to me, instead of ambushing me in front of someone I see 3 times a week. You know how she is. She worries. She wants to fix things. I'm not broken. Another pause. Tom, can I be honest? You're about to anyway. Amanda's been talking about options. For your living situation. My hand tightened on the phone. Options. She thinks this house is getting to be too much for you. The maintenance, the stairs. She mentioned you had trouble with the basement steps last week. I was carrying a box of Margaret's things. It was heavy. I took my time. That's called being careful. She's just thinking long term. There are some really nice senior communities. Independent living, no maintenance, social activities. I'm not interested. Just think about it. She's going to bring it up. I wanted to give you a heads up. After he hung up, I sat at the kitchen table, the same table where we'd celebrated Amanda's graduation, her wedding, the table where Margaret had sat doing crosswords every Sunday morning for 36 years. I opened my banking app, looked at my accounts, looked at the pattern of transactions over the past 5 years. I'd given Amanda and Derek $35,000 for their down payment 7 years ago. They'd promised to pay it back, never did. Stopped mentioning it after the first year, $18,000 for their wedding. Margaret had insisted. Said you only have 1 daughter. It was the last big thing we did before she got sick. $8,500 when Derek's business had cash flow problems. That was 3 years ago. The business folded 6 months later. He got a new job. Never mentioned paying it back. Car payment help. $400 a month for 9 months when Derek was between jobs. $3,600. The new roof on their garage. $4,200. Amanda had cried, said they couldn't afford it, said the old roof was leaking into Derek's home office. I'd paid the contractor directly. Smaller things. Birthday money for the grandkids. $200 each, twice a year. 4 grandkids. That's $600 a year, 5 years, $8,000. Christmas. I gave them $500 every year. Family gift, Amanda called it. For everyone. $2,500 over 5 years. Emergency vet bill when their dog ate chocolate, $890. New appliances when their dishwasher died, $650. Help with preschool costs, $200 a month for 6 months, $1,200. I added it up, $82,140 over 7 years, not counting the smaller things, the dinners I paid for, the times I filled their gas tank when I visited, the groceries I bought when I knew they were stretched thin. I'd never asked for any of it back, never expected it. That's what you do for your kids. You help. But sitting there, adding up the numbers, I realized something. The help had become expected, assumed. And somewhere along the way, I'd stopped being dad and started being a resource they managed. I looked at my phone, at the text thread with Amanda. The last message from her was 2 weeks ago. Can you watch the kids Saturday? Emergency at work. I'd canceled my plans, watched them. She'd picked them up 4 hours later. Didn't say where she'd been. I'd noticed her nails were freshly done. Before that, 3 weeks earlier. Dad, can you help with Emma's soccer fees? Derek's bonus got delayed. $180. I'd sent it same day. Before that, a month before. The car needs new brakes. Can you cover it? We'll pay you back next month. $470. Never saw it again. I scrolled back. Months of messages. Most started with, Dad, can you, or, Dad, we need. In the past 6 months, she'd called me 12 times. 11 were to ask for something. One was to tell me they couldn't make it to Sunday dinner because Derek's parents were visiting. She'd visited me 4 times in the past year. Once on my birthday, once on Father's Day, twice when she needed me to watch the kids. Each visit lasted about 90 minutes. Long enough to feel like she'd made an effort. Short enough that she was never inconvenienced. I closed my phone, looked around the kitchen. This house was too big for one person. That was true. Margaret and I had planned to downsize eventually. Talked about it before she got sick. Maybe a condo. Something with less maintenance. But it was my house. My choice. My decision when or if I sold it. Amanda wasn't worried about the maintenance. She was worried about the equity. The house was worth about $340,000, free and clear. I knew that because she'd mentioned it last Thanksgiving. Casual. Like she was just making conversation. Property values in this neighborhood have really gone up, Dad. Did you see the Henderson's place sold for $355,000? I had nodded, not really paying attention. Now I paid attention. Now I understood. The yoga studio. The concern about my falls. The talk about senior living. This wasn't about my safety. This was about positioning, making a case, establishing a narrative. Dad's getting frail. Dad's too stubborn. Dad needs help managing things. And once that narrative was set, the next step was obvious. We should handle the house sale. We should manage his finances. We should make decisions for him. I'd seen it happen to Margaret's brother. His kids had done the same thing, started with concern about his driving. Then his memory. Then his ability to live alone. Within a year, they'd sold his house, moved him into assisted living, and were managing his accounts. He died 6 months later. Miserable, angry, cut off from everything he'd known. I wasn't going to let that happen to me. Thursday evening, I went to yoga. Rachel was setting up when I arrived early. Thomas, hi. Hi, Rachel. She looked uncomfortable. Listen, about Tuesday. It's fine. My daughter was out of line. She's worried about you. She's worried about her inheritance. There's a difference. Rachel didn't say anything. We both knew I was right, but she couldn't acknowledge it, couldn't take sides. She was my instructor, not my therapist. Class was quiet. I did my practice, held my poses, didn't push, didn't prove anything, just did the work. Afterward, Rachel approached me as I was leaving. Thomas, I need to ask, are you safe at home? Yes. Because if there are concerns about falling, I fell once, on ice, in Minnesota in February. Half the state fell that week. She nodded, but I could see it. The doubt. Amanda had planted it. Now Rachel was second-guessing every wobble, every modification, every time I took longer to get into a pose. I'm fine, Rachel, but I appreciate you asking. I left, drove home, made dinner, sat at the table with Margaret's chair empty across from me. My phone buzzed. Amanda. Dad, we need to talk about the house. Can we come by this weekend? Not, how are you? Not, did you have a good week? Just straight to the house. I stared at the text, thought about responding. Didn't. An hour later, another text. Dad? I turned off my phone. Went to bed. Friday morning, Derek called. I let it go to voicemail. Hey, Tom. Amanda's worried she upset you. She just wants to talk. Can you call her back? I deleted it. Friday evening, Amanda showed up. Didn't call first, just knocked on the door at 6:30. I opened it, didn't invite her in. Dad, why aren't you answering your phone? It's been off. Why? Because I didn't want to talk. She looked past me, into the house. Can I come in? No. Her face did something complicated. Surprise. Hurt. Anger. Are you serious? Very. Dad, what is going on? You told my yoga instructor I'm too stiff to keep up. You told Derek you're looking at senior living options for me. You showed up at my class to plant seeds about my competence. And now you want to come in and talk about selling my house. Did I miss anything? She stared at me. I'm trying to help you. I don't need help. I need you to back off. You felt I slipped on ice. Stop using that like it's evidence I'm incompetent. I never said you were incompetent. You implied it. To Rachel, to Derek, and you're building a case. I know how this works. I've seen it, and it's not happening to me. Dad, I'm your daughter. I'm trying to look out for you. You're trying to manage me. There's a difference. She crossed her arms. This is ridiculous. You're acting paranoid. Am I? Tell me you weren't planning to talk about the house this weekend. Silence. That's what I thought. The house is a lot for you to maintain. That's just a fact. And me selling it would be convenient for you. What's that supposed to mean? It means I know exactly what this house is worth, and I know you've been thinking about it. Her face went hard. That's insulting. Is it? When's the last time you visited without needing something? I visit all the time. You've been here 4 times this year. It's April. Twice you needed me to babysit. Once was my birthday. Once was Father's Day. That's not visiting. That's obligation. I have 4 kids and a full-time job. I'm doing the best I can. I'm not criticizing your schedule. I'm pointing out that you don't get to pretend this is about concern when you've barely been present. That's not fair. Fair is me giving you $82,040 over the past 7 years and never asking for a penny back. Fair is me watching your kids whenever you call. Fair is me paying for emergencies that weren't emergencies. What's not fair is you showing up at my yoga studio to undermine me because you've decided I need managing. She stepped back. I never asked you to give us money. Didn't you? Can you help with the down payment? Can you cover the roof? Can you help with soccer fees? You asked, every time. And you said yes. I didn't force you. No, you just cried and told me how hard things were, and I'm your father, so I helped. But somewhere along the way, you started treating it like an entitlement, and now you're worried the well's going to dry up. You think I'm only here for money? I think you're here because you've decided I need to be managed. And managing me starts with controlling my assets. And that starts with making the case that I'm not competent to make my own decisions. That's not what this is. Then what is it, Amanda? Why show up at my yoga studio? Why talk to Derek about senior living? Why come here demanding to talk about the house? She didn't answer. Go home, Amanda. Dad, I said go home. I closed the door, stood there in the entryway, listening to her get in her car, listening to her drive away. My hands were shaking. I made coffee, forgot to drink it. Sat at the table as the sun went down. At 8:30, my phone buzzed. I'd turned it back on. Derek. Tom, what the hell happened? I told Amanda to leave. She's crying. She thinks you hate her. I don't hate her. I just don't appreciate being treated like I'm incompetent. No one thinks you're incompetent. Then why is she talking about senior living? Why show up at my yoga class? Why immediately jump to talking about selling the house? Silence. Then, she's worried about you living alone. She's worried about her inheritance. Let's be honest. That's not fair, isn't it? Add up what I've given you two over the years. Then tell me this isn't about money. Another pause. Longer. You're saying we're ungrateful. I'm saying you've taken a lot without acknowledging it. And now you're positioning me as someone who needs managing, and those two things are connected. Tom, we appreciate everything you've done, we really do, but that doesn't mean we can't be concerned about you. Your concern looks a lot like control. Jesus Christ, you're being paranoid. Am I? Tell me what you and Amanda have planned. For my living situation, for the house. Be honest. Silence. That's what I thought. I hung up. Saturday morning I went to yoga. Sunday class. Dorothy was there. She came over after. Heard your daughter showed up Tuesday. Word travels. Small studio. Rachel mentioned it. Said she felt awkward. She should. Amanda had no right. Dorothy nodded. My son tried the same thing 2 years ago. Showed up at my doctor's office. Told my physician he was concerned about my memory. Asked if there were tests. What did you do? Changed doctors. And told my son he was no longer welcome at my appointments. Did he back off? Eventually. After I had my lawyer send a letter clarifying that I was mentally competent and his interference was harassment. I looked at her. You got a lawyer involved? Best decision I made. Established a paper trail. Had a cognitive assessment done. Perfect score. Put it on file. Now if he tries anything, I have documentation that I was of sound mind. That seems extreme. So does your daughter showing up at your yoga class to plant doubts about your competence. She had a point. Monday morning I called my lawyer, Robert Mitchell. I'd used him for the will after Margaret died. Estate planning. Simple stuff. Thomas, good to hear from you. What can I do for you? I need to update my will, and I want to document my mental competency. Pause. Is there a reason you're concerned about that? I told him. The yoga studio. The conversations about senior living. The focus on the house. And you're worried your daughter might try to claim you're not competent to manage your affairs? I'm worried she's building a case. Have you been diagnosed with any cognitive issues? No, I'm healthy, sharp. I just turned 72. Then I'd recommend a cognitive assessment. Documented. We can arrange that through a neuropsychologist. Get a baseline. If anyone questions your competence later, you have proof. How long does that take? The assessment itself is a few hours. Results within a week. Then we incorporate that documentation into your estate planning. Make it clear that as of this date, you were of sound mind and making decisions freely. What about the will? What changes do you want to make? I thought about it. About Amanda showing up at the yoga studio. About the $82,040. About the last year of visits that were really just transactions. I want to leave the house to charity. Habitat for Humanity. Or something similar. Silence. Then, that's a significant change. May I ask why? Because I don't want my daughter treating my death like a windfall. I want the house to go somewhere it'll do good, somewhere people won't take it for granted. What about other assets? Retirement accounts? Savings? Split between my grandchildren. In trust. They get it at 25. Amanda and Derek don't touch it. Thomas, I have to ask. Is this about anger? Or is this genuinely what you want? It's what I want. I've given Amanda plenty while I'm alive. What I have left when I die should go somewhere it matters. All right. Let me draft something. We'll schedule the cognitive assessment. And Thomas, document everything, every conversation, every request, every interaction. If she does try to claim incompetence, you'll want a record. I scheduled the assessment for Wednesday. Spent Tuesday writing down every interaction I could remember with Amanda over the past 2 years. Every request for money, every visit, every phone call. The dates I babysat, the amounts I gave, the promises to pay back that never materialized. It filled 11 pages. Wednesday, I took the cognitive assessment. 3 hours of tests: memory, problem solving, spatial reasoning, pattern recognition, word recall. The neuropsychologist, Dr. Sarah Chen, reviewed the results with me the following week. Mr. Sullivan, your cognitive function is well above average for your age group. Your memory is sharp. Your reasoning is sound. There's no indication of any impairment whatsoever. Can you document that? I'll prepare a full report. You can use it however you need. I need it to prove to my daughter that I'm not incompetent. She looked at me. I see. Family dynamics can be complicated. That's a polite way of putting it? The report came 3 days later. 12 pages. Detailed. Clear. I was cognitively sound, legally competent, capable of managing my own affairs. Robert filed it with my updated will. Everything documented, everything legal. I felt lighter, protected, but also sad. Because this was what it had come to. Legal protection from my own daughter. Amanda called twice that week. I didn't answer. She texted, "Dad, please talk to me. Dad, I'm sorry. Can we please work this out? Dad, the kids miss you." That last one hurt, because I missed them too. But I knew what she was doing, using the grandkids as leverage, trying to guilt me into backing down. I didn't respond. Derek called Friday evening. "Tom, this has gone on long enough. Amanda's a mess. The kids are asking why Grandpa won't talk to them. Tell Amanda she's welcome to bring the kids by. Without conditions, without agenda. Just a visit. She wants to apologize. Then she can apologize. I'll listen, but if she starts in on the house or senior living or my safety, I'm done." Fair enough. Sunday, 2 o'clock? Fine. Sunday at 2, Amanda showed up. With Derek. With all 4 kids. Emma, Tyler, Sophie, and Jake. Ages 9, 7, 5, and 3. I opened the door. The kids rushed in. Hugged me. Emma showed me a drawing she'd made. Tyler told me about soccer. Sophie wanted to show me how she could write her name. Jake just wanted to be held. I took them to the living room. Got out the toys I kept in the closet. The kids played. Amanda and Derek sat on the couch. "Dad, I'm sorry." Amanda said it quietly, eyes red. "I handled everything wrong." "Yes, you did. I was worried. I saw you fall. I panicked. I slipped on ice. I know, but it scared me. Mom died so suddenly. I didn't get to prepare, and I'm terrified of that happening with you." I looked at her, at the tears, at Derek's hand on her shoulder, at my grandkids playing with blocks on the floor. "Amanda, I understand being scared. But showing up at my yoga studio, talking about senior living without consulting me, that's not concern. That's control." "I know. I see that now." "Do you?" "Because it felt like you were building a case, establishing that I'm incompetent, so you could make decisions for me. That's not—" She stopped, looked at Derek. "Okay, maybe. Maybe part of me was thinking ahead, about what we'd do if you couldn't manage things. I'm 72, not 90. I'm healthy, sharp, active. I don't need managing. I know that now. Now, or now that I called you on it." She didn't answer. "Amanda, I've given you a lot over the years. Money, time, help. And I did it gladly, because you're my daughter. But somewhere along the way, you started treating it like an obligation, like I owed it to you. I never thought. You called 12 times in 6 months. 11 were to ask for something. You visited 4 times, twice to drop off the kids. That's not a relationship, that's a transaction." She was crying now. "I'm sorry. I got overwhelmed. The kids, work, life, and you were always there. I took advantage. I know I did." "And the house? What was your plan there?" She looked at Derek. He nodded. "Go ahead. We thought, if you sold it, you could move somewhere smaller, easier to maintain, and the money could help secure your future. Make sure you had enough. Enough for what? For care, if you needed it, for retirement, for you to inherit, let's be honest. Her face crumpled. I thought about that too. Yes, I'm sorry. At least she admitted it. That was something. Amanda, I've updated my will. The house isn't going to you. She looked up. What? It's going to charity. Habitat for Humanity, or something similar. When I die, the house goes somewhere. It'll do good. Derek leaned forward. Tom, that's my decision, my house, my choice. But we're family, Amanda said. Doesn't that mean anything? It does. Which is why I'm leaving money for the grandkids. In trust. They'll get it at 25. But you and Derek won't touch it. Silence. Emma looked up from her blocks. Grandpa, can we have snacks? Sure, sweetheart. I got up, went to the kitchen, got out crackers and cheese. Heard Amanda and Derek talking in low voices. Couldn't make out the words. Didn't need to. When I came back, Derek was standing. Tom, I think we should go. Already? Yeah, this is a lot. We need to process. Amanda stood too, tears on her face. Dad, I love you. I'm sorry I hurt you. But cutting us out of your will? That's cruel. I'm not cutting you out. I'm making sure what I have left goes somewhere it won't be taken for granted. You think I'd take it for granted? I think you've taken a lot for granted already. She grabbed her purse. Kids, we're leaving. But Grandpa just got us snacks, Tyler protested. Now, Tyler. They filed out. Emma hugged me goodbye. Tyler waved. Sophie and Jake were already in the car. Amanda didn't look back. Derek paused at the door. Tom, this isn't over. Yeah, it is. He left. I stood in the doorway, watched them drive away, closed the door, looked at the crackers and cheese on the coffee table, the blocks still scattered on the floor. I cleaned up slowly, put the toys away, sat at the table, same chair, Margaret's chair empty across from me. My phone buzzed. Barbara, my neighbor. She'd lived next door for 19 years. Thomas, I just saw Amanda leave. Everything okay? Not really. Want company? Not tonight, but thank you. Call if you need anything. I didn't call. I sat there until dark. Then I went to bed. Monday morning, my lawyer called. Thomas, I got a call this morning from a lawyer representing your daughter. They're requesting documentation of your cognitive status, claiming they have concerns about your ability to manage your affairs. I closed my eyes. That was fast. I sent them the neuropsychology report, the results of your assessment. Made it very clear that you're cognitively sound and legally competent. That should shut it down. Should? They can't force anything. You're demonstrably competent, but they might try other angles. Social pressure, family dynamics, emotional manipulation. I'm familiar. Document everything, Thomas. Every contact, every conversation. If this escalates, you'll want a record. It escalated. Tuesday, Amanda called. I didn't answer. She left a voicemail. Dad, we need to talk about what you told us, about the will. That's not fair. I'm your only child. I deserve... I deleted it before she finished. Wednesday, Derek showed up at the house. I didn't answer the door. He knocked for 5 minutes, then left. Thursday, Amanda posted on Facebook. I didn't see it. Dorothy showed me on her phone Friday morning at yoga. Thomas, you should see this. The post was long, detailed, sad. I'm heartbroken. My father, who I love dearly, has decided to cut me out of his will. After years of trying to help him, of worrying about his safety, of caring about his future, he's decided I'm not worthy of inheriting the home I grew up in, the home where my mother died. He's giving it to charity instead. I understand it's his choice, but it hurts. It hurts to realize that your parent doesn't value family, that money and control matter more than relationships. I'm trying to respect his decision, but I'm also grieving the father I thought I had, Grieving the relationship I thought we had. Please keep us in your thoughts. 342 likes. 117 comments. Most supportive of Amanda. Some questioning. A few calling me selfish. One asking if I was okay. I handed the phone back to Dorothy. Well, she's playing victim. Effectively. What are you going to do? Nothing. Nothing. She wants a reaction. She wants me to defend myself publicly, to engage. I'm not giving her that. People are going to believe her. Let them. Dorothy looked at me. You're tougher than you look. I'm tired, Dorothy. I'm tired of defending myself. Tired of proving I'm competent. Tired of managing my daughter's feelings. If she wants to burn it down publicly, fine. I'm not participating. What about the grandkids? That one hurt. I don't know. Friday evening, my phone rang. Emma, Amanda's oldest. Grandpa? Hi, sweetheart. Mom said you're mad at us. My chest tightened. I'm not mad at you, Emma. Not at all. Then why won't you talk to us? I'm talking to you right now. But you're not talking to Mom, and she's really sad. I know, sweetheart. This is complicated. Grown-up stuff. Did we do something wrong? No. You didn't do anything wrong, I promise. Then why can't we see you? I closed my eyes. You can see me, anytime. Tell your mom you can visit whenever you want. She says you don't want us there. That's not true. I always want to see you. Okay? She sounded uncertain. Grandpa? Yeah, I miss you. I miss you too, sweetheart. She hung up. I sat there holding the phone, staring at Margaret's chair. This was the leverage. The grandkids. Amanda knew exactly what she was doing. Saturday morning, Amanda texted. Emma called you. I didn't tell her to, but since you're so interested in seeing the kids, maybe we can work something out. If you reconsider the will, we can go back to normal. Otherwise, I can't trust you around them. You're clearly not stable. I read it 3 times. Then I forwarded it to Robert. Is this blackmail? He called me 5 minutes later. It's close. She's conditioning your access to your grandchildren on you changing your will. That's manipulative, possibly legally problematic. Save that text. What can I do? Grandparents' rights vary by state. In some cases, you could petition for visitation, but it's complicated, expensive, and it damages the relationship further. So I'm stuck. For now, document everything. If she continues restricting access, we have options. But Thomas, this is going to get worse before it gets better. He was right. Sunday, I went to yoga. Rachel pulled me aside before class. Thomas, I need to talk to you. Okay? I saw your daughter's Facebook post. I figured. She's saying you're cutting her off, that you're making irrational decisions. And you're wondering if it's true. Rachel looked uncomfortable. I'm wondering if you're okay. I'm fine, Rachel. My daughter is upset because I changed my will. She's making it public because she wants pressure on me to change it back. That's all this is. So, you're not having issues? Cognitively. I had a cognitive assessment done last week. Perfect score. I can show you the report if you want. No, She stopped. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have asked. You're covering yourself. I understand. But Rachel, I'm fine. I'm going to keep coming to yoga. I'm going to keep doing my practice, and my daughter's drama is not your responsibility. She nodded. Okay. Class was tense. A few other students had seen the post. I could feel them watching me, wondering. Dorothy positioned herself next to me. Solidarity. After class, I drove home. Found Derek waiting on my porch. Tom, we need to talk. No, we don't. Yes, we do. This has gone too far. I agree. You and Amanda should back off. You're being unreasonable. You changed your will out of spite. I changed it because I don't want my house treated like a prize to be fought over when I'm dead. It's not about the house. It's about what it represents. Family, legacy. You're throwing that away. No, I'm deciding what my legacy is, and it's not funding your lifestyle. His face went red. Our lifestyle? You think this is about money? Isn't it? Add up what I've given you over the years, then tell me this isn't about money. You offered. We didn't force you. No, you just asked, over and over, and cried when things were hard. And I'm your father-in-law, so I helped. But it's never enough, is it? There's always another emergency, another need, another reason why I should open my wallet. That's not fair. Fair is me deciding what happens to my assets when I die. Fair is me having boundaries. What's not fair is you and Amanda treating me like an ATM and then acting wounded when I shut it down. We're family, Tom. Then act like it. Visit without needing something. Call without asking for money. Show up because you want to see me, not because you need something from me. We do. When? When was the last time you came over just to visit? No agenda, no favor, no request, just family. He didn't answer. That's what I thought. Go home, Derek. Amanda's talking about cutting you off from the grandkids. I know, she already told me. Conditioning my access on me changing the will. That's called extortion. It's called protecting her kids from an unstable grandfather. I'm not unstable. I had a cognitive assessment, perfect score. Your wife is lying. She's scared. She's manipulative. There's a difference. Derek stepped closer. You're making a huge mistake. Family is everything. You're throwing it away over money. I'm protecting myself from people who've decided I'm too old to make my own decisions. And if that costs me my relationship with you and Amanda, that's a price I'm willing to pay. He stared at me. You mean that? I do. Then you're more selfish than I thought. He left. I went inside, locked the door, made coffee, forgot to drink it. Again. That night, my phone lit up with messages from numbers I didn't recognize. People who'd seen Amanda's Facebook post, friends of hers, strangers. You should be ashamed. Your daughter is a saint for putting up with you. Old people who cut out their families deserve to die alone. I blocked them, one by one. Then I turned off my phone. Tuesday morning, Barbara knocked on my door. She had a casserole. Thought you might need a meal. And a friend. Thank you, Barbara. I saw the Facebook post. For what it's worth, I don't believe it. Most people do. Most people don't know you. I do. You're a good man, Thomas. Whatever's happening with Amanda, I'm sure you have your reasons. I almost cried. Didn't. Thank you. She squeezed my hand. Call if you need anything. That afternoon, Robert called. Thomas, I heard from their lawyer again. They're pushing for a competency hearing, claiming you're not capable of managing your estate. Based on what? The Facebook post. The claims that you're acting irrationally. They're trying to build a case. But I have documentation. You do, and that should be enough. But this is going to be unpleasant. They'll question you, bring up every mistake, every moment of confusion, try to paint you as incompetent. When? Hearing is scheduled for next month. I'll be there. We'll present your cognitive assessment, medical records, evidence that you're sound. But Thomas, be prepared. Your daughter is going to testify against you. I hung up, sat at the table, thought about Margaret, about the 36 years we'd had together, about raising Amanda, about how proud we'd been when she graduated college, got married, had kids, about how we'd never imagined it would come to this. The next 3 weeks were quiet. No calls from Amanda or Derek. No more Facebook posts. Just silence and dread. The hearing was set for April 22nd, County Courthouse. Judge Marilyn Foster presiding. I showed up in a suit, Robert beside me. Amanda and Derek were already there, with their lawyer, a man named Gregory Ellis. Expensive suit, cold eyes. The judge reviewed the case. Mr. Ellis, you're claiming Mr. Sullivan is not competent to manage his estate. On what grounds? Your Honor, Mr. Sullivan has exhibited erratic behavior. He's made sudden, irrational changes to his will. He's cut off contact with his family. He's isolated himself. These are classic signs of diminished capacity. Mr. Mitchell, your response? Robert stood. Your Honor, Mr. Sullivan recently underwent a comprehensive cognitive assessment. The results show no impairment whatsoever. He's cognitively sound, legally competent, His decision to update his will is his right, and his choice to limit contact with his family is a personal boundary, not evidence of incompetence. The judge looked at me. Mr. Sullivan, why did you change your will? I stood. Your Honor, I changed it because I don't want my house to become a source of conflict when I die. I want it to go somewhere it'll do good. That's my choice, and I'm sound enough to make it. And the contact with your daughter? I limited it because she was treating me like I was incompetent, showing up at my yoga studio to undermine me, talking about senior living without consulting me, conditioning my access to my grandchildren on me changing my will back. That's manipulation, not concern. Amanda's lawyer stood. Your Honor, may we call Mrs. Hendricks to testify? Proceed. Amanda took the stand. She looked small, sad, tears in her eyes. Mrs. Hendricks, when did you first become concerned about your father? About 2 months ago. He fell on the ice, bruised his hip, and he seemed different afterward. More withdrawn, angry. Did you try to help? I did. I talked to his yoga instructor. I suggested options for safer living, but he reacted badly, accused me of trying to control him. And the will, when did he tell you about the changes? 3 weeks ago. He told me he was leaving the house to charity, cutting me out. I was devastated. Why do you think he did that? I think he's confused, scared. He's grieving my mother, and he's taking it out on me. Robert stood. Objection, speculation. Sustained, Amanda's lawyer continued. Mrs. Hendricks, do you believe your father is capable of managing his affairs? I think he needs help. I think he's overwhelmed. And I think these decisions, the will, the isolation, are cries for help. Thank you. No further questions. Robert approached. Mrs. Hendricks, how many times have you visited your father in the past year? Amanda hesitated. I'm not sure. Several times. Your father documented it. 4 times. Twice to drop off your children for babysitting. Once on his birthday. Once on Father's Day. Does that sound accurate? I've been busy. I have 4 kids. How many times have you called him? I call regularly. Your father documented that too. 12 calls in months. 11 were to ask for money or favors. Does that sound accurate? I don't know, maybe. Mrs. Hendricks, over the past 7 years, your father has given you over $82,000, down payment on your house, wedding costs, car payments, emergency expenses. Did you pay any of that back? We intended to, but you didn't. We couldn't afford it. Yet you could afford to go to dinners, to get your nails done, to take vacations. Isn't it true that you viewed your father as a financial resource? Isn't it true that you showed up at his yoga studio not out of concern, but to establish a narrative that he was incompetent, so you could eventually control his assets? No, I was worried about him. Worried enough to document his fall, worried enough to talk to his instructor, worried enough to discuss senior living, but not worried enough to visit him more than 4 times in a year. Not worried enough to call without needing something. Explain that. Amanda started crying. You're twisting everything. I'm clarifying it. You're not concerned about your father's welfare. You're concerned about your inheritance. And when he set a boundary, you retaliated. Correct? No. You posted on Facebook. You restricted his access to his grandchildren. You filed for a competency hearing. All because he changed his will. Correct? I was protecting my kids. From a man who's been nothing but generous, a man who babysat regularly, a man who helped you financially for years. Why would he suddenly be a threat? Because he's not himself. Or because he finally stood up to you, and you couldn't handle it. Objection, Ellis said. Badgering. Sustained. Move on, Mr. Mitchell. Robert returned to his seat. No further questions. The judge reviewed the cognitive assessment report. Medical records. My documentation of interactions with Amanda. Took 20 minutes. Then she looked up. Mr. Sullivan, I see no evidence of incompetence. Your cognitive assessment is clear. Your medical records show no issues. Your decision to change your will is your right, and your decision to limit contact with your daughter, while unfortunate, is not evidence of diminished capacity. This petition is denied." Amanda stood. "Your Honor." "Sit down, Mrs. Hendricks. This hearing is over." We left. Amanda and Derek didn't look at me, didn't speak, just walked out to their car and drove away. Robert shook my hand. "You held up well." "Thank you." "Thomas, this may not be over. She could appeal. She could try other tactics. Be prepared." I nodded, drove home, sat in the driveway for a long time before going inside. That night my phone rang. "Emma." "Grandpa?" "Hi, sweetheart. Mom said you won." "In court." "I suppose I did. Does that mean we can see you again?" I closed my eyes. "Do you want to?" "Yes, I miss you." "I miss you too." "Can I come over?" "Ask your mom." Silence. Then muffled voices. Then Amanda. "Dad." "Amanda. Emma wants to visit." "I know. Can she?" "She's always welcome." Pause. "Alone? Or can I come?" "What do you want, Amanda?" "I want to fix this." "Do you? Or do you want me to change the will back?" "Both." At least she was honest. "The will stays, but you're welcome to visit, if you can accept that." "I don't know if I can." "Then I guess we're done." "Dad, Amanda, I love you, but I'm not negotiating my estate to maintain a relationship. If you can accept my boundaries, we can move forward. If you can't, then we can't. It's that simple." "It's not simple." "It is. You just don't like the answer." She hung up. I sat there, phone in my hand, waiting to see if she'd call back. She didn't. 2 days later, Emma showed up. Barbara brought her. She'd called Amanda, offered to pick Emma up, bring her to visit. Amanda had agreed. Emma hugged me. We made cookies, watched a movie. She told me about school, about soccer, about her little brother Jake learning to ride a bike. She didn't mention the hearing, didn't mention her mom. When Barbara picked her up, Emma hugged me again. "Can I come back next week?" "Anytime." She smiled. Left. I stood in the doorway, watched them drive away. That night, Amanda texted, "Thank you for seeing Emma. She needed that." I didn't respond. Over the next month, Emma visited 3 more times. Tyler came once. Sophie and Jake were too young to make the trip without Amanda, and Amanda didn't offer. I went to yoga, worked in the garden, had coffee with Barbara. Life went on. In June, the house across the street sold. New family moved in. Young couple, 2 kids. They waved. I waved back, helped them move a couch the first day. The husband, Kevin, was friendly, chatty. We talked about the neighborhood, about the schools, about the weather. "You've lived here a long time?" he asked. 38 years. "Wow, you've seen a lot of changes." "Some." "Kids in the area?" "1 daughter, 4 grandkids." "They visit often?" "Sometimes." He didn't push. I appreciated that. July 4th, Kevin invited me to a barbecue. I almost said no, but I went. Met his wife, Sarah, their kids, Olivia and Ben. Met some of the other neighbors, people I'd seen but never really talked to. It was nice, normal. No one asking about my will, no one questioning my competence. Just people, being friendly. Dorothy was there. She brought potato salad, sat next to me at the picnic table. "You look better," she said. "I feel better." "Heard from Amanda?" "Not really. Emma visits." "That's enough. You're okay with that?" "I have to be." She nodded. "For what it's worth, I think you did the right thing. Most people don't. Most people haven't been where we are. They don't understand what it's like when your kids see you as a resource instead of a person." "You went through this too?" "Different details. Same story. My son wanted me to sell my house, move closer to him, so he could keep an eye on, me. Really, so he could manage my money. I refused. We didn't speak for a year. And now? Now we have boundaries. I see him on holidays. We're civil, but I don't depend on him. And he's learned he can't control me. Do you miss him? I miss who I thought he was, but I don't miss the person he became. I understood that. I missed the Amanda who used to call just to talk, the Amanda who visited because she wanted to, but that Amanda might never have existed. Or maybe I just never noticed the transaction underneath. September. Emma started 4th grade. Tyler started 2nd. Sophie started kindergarten. Jake turned 4. I sent birthday checks, $50 each, not $200 anymore. Amanda texted, "The kids got your checks. Thank you." "You're welcome." That was it. No conversation, just transaction. October. Barbara invited me to Thanksgiving. I accepted. Spent the day with people who weren't my blood, but felt more like family. In December, Emma asked if I'd come to her winter concert. I went, sat in the back, saw Amanda and Derek 3 rows ahead. They didn't turn around, didn't acknowledge me. After, Emma found me in the lobby, hugged me, showed me the program. "Did you like it, Grandpa?" "You were wonderful." She beamed. Amanda approached, hesitant. "Dad, thank you for coming." "Of course." Awkward silence. "Emma, go find your brothers. We need to get home." Emma hugged me again. Ran off. Amanda lingered. "Dad, It's okay, Amanda." "No, it's not. I was wrong. About a lot of things. I'm sorry." I looked at her, at the tears in her eyes, at the exhaustion in her face. "Thank you. Can we try again?" "What does that look like?" "I don't know, but I miss you. The kids miss you, and I think I let fear turn me into someone I don't recognize." "Fear of what?" "Losing you, like we lost Mom, and thinking if I could just control things, manage things, it wouldn't hurt as much. But you can't control it, Amanda. And trying just hurt us both." "I know." She wiped her eyes. "The will. I accept it. I don't like it, but I accept it. It's your choice." "Thank you. Can we start over?" "We can try." She hugged me, brief, uncertain, but real. Over the next months, she visited twice. Just her. No agenda. We had coffee, talked. Not about the house, not about money. Just life. Her job, the kids, small things. It wasn't what it was before. Maybe it never would be, but it was something. In February, 1 year after I slipped on the ice, I went to yoga. Rachel greeted me warmly. "Thomas, you're still here." "Still here. Still improving too. Your balance is better than half my 20-year-olds." I smiled. Good genes. After class, Dorothy and I got coffee. Routine now, weekly tradition. "You made it through," she said. "Did I?" "You're still standing, still independent, still you. That's more than a lot of people can say." I thought about that. About the house, about the will, about Amanda and the grandkids and the boundaries I'd had to set. "It cost me," I said. "Of course it did. Freedom always does." I went home, to the house I'd fought to keep, to Margaret's chair, to the table where I'd raised my daughter, to the life I'd built. And I thought, maybe that's enough. Maybe freedom and peace are worth more than approval. Maybe setting boundaries is an act of love, for yourself, and maybe, eventually, for the people who need to learn them. I made dinner, ate at the table, alone, but not lonely. My phone buzzed. "Emma, can I come over Saturday? I want to help you make cookies again." "Absolutely." She sent back a heart emoji. I set down my phone, looked around the kitchen, at the house that was mine, at the life that was mine. And I thought, I'm 73. I'm healthy, I'm free, and that's all I need. If you like this story, please like it, subscribe to the channel, and share your impressions in the comments. To listen to more stories, click on the window on the right. Thank you for being with us.